Our coverage tonight begins with update on the power outage in northern Nigeria, where the transmission company of Nigeria has announced that the ongoing repairs to the damaged transmission line that led to a blackout in the region will be completed by Sunday, 3rd of November 2024. It noted, however, that alternative measures have been implemented to transmit 400 megawatts to certain areas within the next 24 hours. The managing director of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, disclosed this development at a press briefing on Tuesday in Abuja, updating on efforts to restore electricity to the region. On the 22nd of October, TCN reported a power outage in the northeast, northwest, and parts of north-central Nigeria after the 330 kilovolt Ugwa Aji Apir double-circuit transmission lines 1 and 2 tripped. Meanwhile, the Deputy Senate President, Bara Jibril, has confirmed that security agencies are set to take decisive action against insurgents responsible for damaging critical power infrastructure in northern Nigeria. Now, this development comes after the transmission company of Nigeria reported widespread power outages in the northeast, northwest, and parts of north-central Nigeria. The outages are largely attributed to the vandalism of transmission lines, including the key Shiroro-Kaduna line. Speaking on the Senate floor Tuesday, Senator Jibril assured lawmakers that the Office of the National Security Advisor is fully engaged with the issue.
The fourth business of the day is presentation.
The Secretary of Senate is concerned about the lack of electricity supply in the northern part of this country. This is happening due to the fact that the electricity tower coming from within the area that electricity is taken to the northern part of the country was vandalized by terrorists. And it has become a problem for the TCN staff to get to where this occurred, to get it restored, because that area is being occupied by terrorists. Now, what has been done is, what is being done now is that the security agencies are putting their hands together to get to that spot and try to eradicate or take away the threat that is being there for quite a while.
Now joining us is News Central's correspondent Umaru Kirawa, and he joins us from Borno State to give us an update of the power outage in the state. Umar, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started. Looking from behind you, it's a bit dark where you are. Give us an update on how severe or dire the situation is regarding the power outage in the north.
Well, it is quite unfortunate, and northern Nigerians are in a state of quagmire due to the lack of electricity for days now, and unfortunately, still counting, because up to now the streets are dark, if not because of the solar street light here in the city of Maiduguri and possibly other capital cities within the northern region. There will be no light. And just imagine hospitals that do not have alternative means of power supply like solar and others. Patients, emergency patients, the risk of death. So this is the situation, and unfortunately, this is happening for days. And although the government has continues to make pronouncement that there is hope that in the next maybe days, 5 days or 3 days, light will be back, but citizens are paying through their nose. Because it's no longer unbearable. For the case of Maiduguri, which is relatively different because the previous administration of President Muhammadu Buhari installed a gas emergency power plant for Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, providing alternative power. But unfortunately, even the Maiduguri gas plant in the last few days, it's not working, and we've learned that work is still ongoing with regard to restoring power and working on the gas plant. And if you can see, this is the street, and the street is empty because people are rushing back home due to curfew in Maiduguri. But I have one of the traders here who will tell us his own side of the story with regard to the lack of power outage. So, Bro Salakin Andoro Sumbunde.
Si Bukar Mohammed.
Okay, Bukar Mohammed, I Andoro Gundumin, a futu doe, Konu ba, Bela, Yerwa, Kirma Nalan, Uru Aria, Samaso, Konu ba, I Lankara.
Oh, Bro Salakin Kal Manana, si Bukar Mohammed. Isabella Konu ba, Zoro, and Yale, and Kwande Kasu. And the Kasu will especially Jiri Kasum, they did Kareamus, so Zira, or Sofok, or living also the Dina Zoro, and that's Sana. Class of Konubari and Audi Gomati and Gure and you for the city. Kala Gatham Paha Planeshe, Shiranzo, and the Banat and other Kaudalishe, problems on you, Konupani Marolono. So, Ashman and the Banajindo, Konachmanishi, and the Marolono. Gomati and Gurena, and Ashmamazu, and the Banasiri.
Okay. Your number our charging it, Krima Daran charging doing through the way they Krima charging doing.
Similar number charge Nala charging one and Yarino, not charging not swear by then, who charges or the Kamaro who Burea Kamaya Berry. Buro and Miaso, there are people who are Kamaya in the Yarin, so never meant to not charging. Urundaso Yarmana charging. Urunala Yarimia, you know, swear by Nabangat.
So, if you've heard what he just said, this young Kanuri businessman, he said it's quite unfortunate that even the solar gas power plant that is providing alternative means of electricity in Maiduguri is down, and maintenance is ongoing. So they are battling, and even to charge their phones is another problem because some phones charging outlets within the capital have increased the cost of charging of phones, and some do not even power banks to charge for them to get power for them. So it's a very serious concern, and he urged the government to look into this plight of them and others, so that at least the poor man and others can get a sigh of relief from the years of atrocities caused by insurgents and so on and so forth.
Right.
And it's quite
unfortunate.
It's important to note that.
Yeah, go ahead. You're giving your closing remarks.
Yes. I said it's quite unfortunate that Boko Haram continued and other terrorists continue to attack some of the towers, particularly on the major highways, even in Maiduguri, in Yobe, and so on and so forth. That is basically why the government deemed it fit to come up with the gas power plant, which is providing alternative means. And sometimes even residents cannot differentiate between the power being provided by the gas power plant and that of the grid provided by national grid.
Right.
It's unfortunate, and the hope now is power will be restored anytime soon. That's the prayers of all.
Right, and we do hope that power is indeed restored. If there's one thing for certain, I mean, just having electricity, it really solves everything. Our heart goes out to the residents there in Maiduguri and also parts and the north in its entirety. Once again, many thanks, Umar Kirawa. Umar Kirawa is our correspondent live in Borno there, just giving us updates on the situation in Borno. We'll switch gears now away from the north, as President Bola Tinubu has commended the Implementation Committee on the Naira-based sales of crude oil and refined products and asked the members to resolve any teething problems. Now, in a review meeting at the State House, Abuja, the president said that using the naira was conceived to remove the exchange rate hurdle. Now, President Tinubu said the various players in the oil sector, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Dangote Refinery, should work to improve the economy and the livelihood of Nigerians. Now, on his part, the chief executive of Dangote Group, and that's Aliko Dangote, told the president that the refinery had more than 500 million liters of fuel in reserve after supplying 400 million to the economy. He said the refinery could collaborate with the other refineries managed by NNPC Limited to meet an estimated 32 million liters of local petrol needs. A significant breakthrough. Efforts are intensifying to capture the mastermind behind the human trafficking ring that smuggled teenage boys from Lagos, Nigeria to Ghana under the false promise of job opportunities. Ghanaian security forces launched the raid after a thorough investigation spearheaded by News Central, which led to the discovery of the boys and the arrest of one syndicate member. Now, this action follows an earlier report from News Central highlighting a heartfelt appeal from the mothers of Daniel and Zil, two teenagers from Ikota Resettlement Estate in Lagos. The mothers pleaded for swift action after their children were lured away by unidentified individuals with fraudulent job offers. Now, the boys have since been successfully rescued by Ghanaian police. News Central's Marsha Onaye was on the news earlier and gave us an update. Take a look.
Yeah, this is the same apartment where the guys were rescued yesterday, the victims that were held here. Some of them, we hear they were kept since May, while the Nigerian boys who were taken over a month ago, and they were kept in this place. And usually, we came this morning to have a chat with the neighbors to find out how this place has been existing without no notification to the police, and they have not been aware that people were being held hostage in this place and fraudulent activities happening here. But, you know, their reaction was usually you'd find the house under lock and key like this, and even when you look inside, when we came yesterday, it was like this, and then inside we had another key that was locked. The serenity of the place quiet. You wouldn't suspect that there were people in this place, and you can find the surroundings are overgrown with grasses and within the compound, so you'll at least expect that there are people living here because it doesn't look habitable at all. The windows were closed, but for the communication we had established and the tracking we had established with the victims in there, we knew that there were people obviously in there, and so the police had to break this to get access to the compound, and then eventually we got access to the guys who picked up a commercial sex worker. She was a commercial sex worker, and she had just finished, running one of her, one of her clients, and then returning back to whom Kofi had come to know as her madam. And he's saying that some of these girls are trafficked from neighboring African countries and brought here to Accra, Ghana, and subjected to commercial sex works and 419, Yahoo, what we call in Nigeria, in our local parlance, online fraud. And so, yeah, what we've also come to know is that these persons, some of them might not have been unaware of what they were coming for, while most of them were brought here in the guise of getting a job in a corporate organization before being subjected to the treatments they eventually get.
And now to the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has flagged up the construction of the Mai to Gomani road in the Kwali Area Council of Abuja. The minister, who attended the ceremony, was visibly upset over the poor state of the Kwali to Mai road leading to the location of the ceremony, and informed residents in the area that the Kwali to Mai road will be constructed immediately as an emergency project. Amadi Uyi was there and tells us more.
The road from Kwali to Pai shows a vivid description of the extent of work needed to be done on the road. However, this is not the actual road being flagged off, as one would still have to drive over 30 minutes along this stretch of road. to get to the exact location. While the bad roads did not deter the ceremony from holding, the coordinator of the Satellite Towns Development Department gave a description of the expected project, which is the Pai to Gobani Road, that has already been awarded.
The scope of the project is as follows, Your Excellency. Construction of 15.4 kilometer length of roads, site clearance and earthworks, 150 millimeter thick 150 millimeter thick lateritic sub-base, 150 millimeter thick crushed stone base, 60 millimeter thick asphaltic binder course, 40 millimeter thick asphaltic wearing course, construction of box and pipe culverts of different sizes, construction of trapezoidal concrete line drain, construction of access slabs and culverts, and finally, two-span river bridge.
An unhappy minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, expressed his displeasure over the road contract, saying that although the Pai to Gobani Road has been awarded, the Kwali Pai Road was not brought to his attention.
So as I was coming, I called the chairman of House Committee on FCT. I said, Mr. Chairman, I have a problem. And that problem is that I want to have a environment. That is a budget. I feel that, look, we're all human. We're all human. How will those people feel that you are passing the area there's no road, and then you are coming to an area that, I mean, how would they feel? Assuming we did not come here to flag on this project, and tomorrow the same project is ready for commissioning, and then you are coming, there's no road. I say, where are we heading to? Then you get to Pai. Then the road is good. The people of Pai will never forgive you.
He assured residents of the FCT that the current administration will remain focused on its promises to citizens.
Let me tell you, and I want to say clearly, let anybody hear me. Ahmed Tinubu did not make me minister to come and sell land here. I did not become a minister to come and sell land. I took the position to support Mr. President to improve the infrastructure of that city. And that is why every day our concern is infrastructure, 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 and infrastructure.
For the residents of Pai in Kwali Area Council, it's a double blessing, as they not only get the Pai to Gomani Road constructed, but they also get assurances that the Kwali to Pai Road will be constructed as emergency project. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Many thanks to Amadine Uyi there for that report. I mean, any developmental infrastructure is welcome. You're watching Tonight, still to come. FCCPC demands transparency, accountability from Nigerian banks amid ongoing disruptions. We'll bring you the details after this break. If you have just joined us, you are watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Transmission Company of Nigeria promises power restoration in northern region in 5 days. Efforts on to arrest human trafficking kingpin in Ghana, rehabilitate rescued Nigerian boys. FCCPC warns Nigerian banks over online banking disruptions. And all is set for Botswana presidential election as candidates round off campaigns. And you're welcome back. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that's the FCCPC, has issued a strong warning to banks over the ongoing disruptions in online banking services, cautioning against violations of customers' rights. FCCPC's Executive Vice Chairman, Mr. Tunji Bello, in a statement on Tuesday, says that the FCCPC Act entitles consumers to seek redress when services fail to meet required standards. He urged banks and financial institutions to act swiftly to restore their services, prioritizing customer support and improve communication to manage expectations in a transparent and responsible way. Bello highlighted that the disruptions have prevented millions of customers from accessing their funds, making payments, and completing essential transactions, causing serious impacts on both individuals and businesses. I will say about time. We'll move now to security matters. The Nigerian police force, is set to commence the use of the West African Police Information System, also known as the WAPIS project. Now, this is as the police with partner security agencies from across the sub-region converged on the nation's capital, Abuja, to review efforts aimed at tackling local and transnational crimes. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
Implemented by the Interpol with funding from the European Union, the West African Police Information System is expected to improve the ability of law enforcement agencies in West Africa to combat local and transnational crimes. It seeks to centralize, digitalize, and share police information, allowing the police to access information from their country and other countries in the sub-region. Nigeria's police chief says that the platform is auspicious and an example of successful interagency collaboration.
There is no information that is small. You may have one piece and the other agency may have the other piece. If I can give us a very simple example of what had happened that time, the Chibok girls issue, is lack of information sharing, because actually the perpetrators went there and asked questions, including a shoe shiner that was there. Additionally, again, lack of capacity from letting the student know, or any other agency, that if there is any issue, like now as we are here, let's say there is any problem, there is any challenge, where is the muster point? Where are we supposed to gather? Where do we stay? Where do we stand? Most of the girls escaped, but unfortunately there is no particular muster point. So they kept on coming back to the same point, and the perpetrators now are guiding them and putting them inside the vehicle. So it's a great lesson that we have used, and I think is working for us now.
Nigeria's Minister of Police Affairs and the representative of the Federal Road Safety Corps say that the project will improve the nation's security and safety.
Signing a memorandum of understanding with Interpol to reaffirm the commitment of the country to work together with other countries for the greater good of the region and the world. Establishment of National Criminal Data Fusion Center for the Nigerian Police Force, and automation of police specialized services with unique reference numbers that can be validated globally. This collaboration is paramount in today's world, where challenges often transcend the boundaries of individual organizations.
This achievement demonstrates Nigeria's unwavering commitment to regional security and showcases Nigeria's efforts to modernize law enforcement.
Security agencies in attendance say they will be hoping to foster greater cooperation within the next 3 days to effectively tackle transnational crimes. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
In the meantime, Nigeria's federal government has pledged to work with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to combat terrorism in the country and across the West Africa. Now, this was as the national coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, received the Secretary General of the Islamic Military Counter-Terrorism Center in Saudi Arabia, where he expressed confidence that the visit will build walls of collaboration and cooperation between both nations. The Secretary General of the Islamic Military Counter-Terrorism Center says he is happy about efforts to work with Nigeria, saying terrorism knows no religion or country and must be rooted out in the interest of peace and security.
Terrorism, it's not, people from terrorism, people, they are not Muslim, they are there from all over. And terrorism, they are not Pacific country or Pacific people or Pacific color. terrorism, it's something, it's happened. And all of us, we should, counter terrorism and to get it out.
This visit is highly valued as it will further solidify the cordial and friendly relationship between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the National Counterterrorism Center and the Islamic Military Counterterrorism Center in our joint resolve to combat terrorism on a global scale.
And now to health matters. Health experts in Nigeria have raised concerns over the increasing threat of non-communicable diseases, which they say are responsible for about 74% of deaths globally and over 40% in Africa. They made this known in Abuja during a health summit organized by the Gatefield International. The summit also saw the launch of a comprehensive health strategy aimed at tackling Nigeria's life expectancy crisis, which currently stands at 52 years for citizens.
We're looking at there is a quiet epidemic happening across the world and across Africa, which the underlying factor is non-communicable diseases. Today, non-communicable diseases represent about 74% of deaths across the world, and in Africa, we're looking at about over 40%. And in Nigeria today, very few of us are able to live beyond the age of 65. The reason for this summit, therefore, is to ensure that living beyond the age of 65 is not an exception, but rather the general expectation.
What makes it worse is that they're actually preventable, and when not preventable, there are actually better ways of management than what we're doing, and there are many touch points. For instance, consistent accessibility and availability or affordability of therapy or therapeutic medications for managing things like diabetes, high blood pressure. And then there are also preventive actions, lifestyle choices that we can make, exercising, consumption with respect to sugar.
Non-communicable diseases in Nigeria is a time bomb waiting to explode. That's the way I'm going to put it. And there's still a lot of ignorance about it. And so it is important here to have this summit to discuss non-communicable diseases, bring it to the fore, bring people's attention to it, that we have a time bomb waiting to explode, and people will take action as appropriate, both at individual level and at government level.
The President of Nigeria's Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives have reaffirmed their commitment to supporting policies aimed at addressing the issue of out-of-school children, as well as the completion of abandoned government projects that will benefit citizens. They made these pledges during the 8th convocation ceremony of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and the University of Benin postgraduate program of the Institute. While expressing their dedication to increasing funding for the education sector, they say Nigeria's parliament will support initiatives to ensure that the institution is equipped to help bridge the human resource gap in the country.
The 10th Senate has continued to support policies such as the student loan program and to take other initiatives towards addressing out-of-school children. These initiatives are very clear to the President and Commander. They are very dear to the President and Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and those require the support of all stakeholders. As the Chairman of the NILS Governing Council, I will ensure that my team continues to support NILS in fulfilling its role as the nation's only statutory institute.
The 10th House recognizes the importance of cultivating a culture of parliamentary education, has continued the legislative mentorship initiative initiated in the 9th Assembly with a renewed dedication through the LMI we are training the next generation of Nigerian leaders, installing in them the values of integrity, civic responsibility, and a deep understanding of legislative processes. This initiative presents our commitment to ensuring that young Nigerians are prepared to take the reins of leadership and contribute meaningfully to the governance of our country, and it is gratifying that NILS plays a critical role in raising this generation of Nigerians.
Some stakeholders in Plateau State are optimistic that the rapid upgrade in the education sector in the state will sooner than later improve the economy and livelihood of residents of the state. So says the state governor, Caleb Mutfwang, who was at the commissioning and handing over of Government Technical College in Mangu local government area of Plateau State to the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Education. News Central's Chizoba Anyowi tells us more.
Federal Government Technical College, Mangun, in Mangu local government area of Plateau State, was birthed from Government Science School, Mangun. The quest for improved standard of education and skills acquisition for better livelihood of the youth of Plateau State gave rise to this development, an initiative of the member representing Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency. For Governor Caleb Mutfwang, the upgrade of Federal Technical College will turn the community of Mangun into a technical hub.
Yeah, it means a lot to the development of skills, growth, economic impact, career opportunities, adaptability, societal impact, and as well as lifelong learning opportunities for our teeming youth.
Before now, Plateau was the only state in the country without a government science and technical school. This is the icing on the cake for major stakeholders at this event.
I always tell people, this is time for governance. It's not for party issue. It's a time that we need to unite and see what we can do to develop our land. See what we can do to bring our own quota. Let's utilize this opportunity. We don't know whether it will be the last.
And the part of the ministry, we want to ensure that the structural area are good, as he has said. Not only that, we want to ensure that within now and next year, everything is put in place and the students will come here and start their academic activity.
And for us, senior secondary is the bridge from the basic to the tertiary. So it's important that those skills and the learnings that our youth will go on with are very, very important.
The 1.5 billion naira project, when completed, would, among others, pave the way for one ICT library, 4 laboratories, and 200 bed spaces for the benefit of the students. In Mangu local government area for News Central, Chizoba Anyowi.
Many thanks to Chizoba there for that report. You're watching tonight on News Central TV. Still ahead, Chad calls for international support after deadly Boko Haram attack. We'll bring you to the details of these and more shortly. And you're welcome back. The ruling Botswana Democratic Party has held its star rally in the capital city of Gaborone. This event marks a crucial moment in the lead-up to the elections as the president of the country takes a stage to make his final speech to voters. Now, thousands of supporters gathered at the Philip Musuthi ground to hear the president's message. Meanwhile, the main opposition umbrella for democratic change, the leader, and that's Duma Boko, has told his supporters that if voted into power, he will create jobs in a space of 3 years. Botswana will be heading to the polls on Wednesday to elect 71 members of parliament and 560 members of local government. The elected 71 members of parliament will then elect the president. And in Chad, authorities are calling on the international community for stronger support in counter-terrorism efforts across the Sahel following a deadly Boko Haram attack that left around 40 Chadian soldiers dead. The government spokesperson, Adaraman Kulamala, confirmed the assault, which took place late Sunday when Boko Haram militants launched a surprise attack on a military garrison in the Lake Chad region. Kulamala emphasized that coordinated global action is urgently needed to eliminate the threat posed by violent groups destabilizing the entire region. Chadian President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno responded swiftly on Monday, launching an operation to track down the assailants. Now, security forces are currently in pursuit of those responsible for the attack. The attack also left around 20 others wounded. And for business, let's join our business desk for today's news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
The Nigerian government has announced plans to support 600,000 small-scale farmers nationwide to increase food production and curb rising inflation. This initiative was highlighted by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, at a press briefing during the 2024 IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., United States of America, as per a statement by Mohammed Manga, the ministry's Director of Information and Public Relations. Minister Edun emphasized the government's focus on maximizing the current wet season harvest and preparing for an efficient dry season. Given that food accounts for 50% of the consumer price index, Edu noted that boosting agricultural output is a strategic approach to reducing inflation. He remarked, and I quote, "One of the key things we are focusing on at this particular time is ensuring that we dutifully collect the wet season harvest, which is underway." End of quote. The Transmission Company of Nigeria reports spending 29.3 billion naira to repair 266 electricity towers damaged by vandals over the last 34 months, from January 2022 to October 2024. This series of attacks has negatively impacted power availability and accessibility nationwide, highlighting the vulnerability of Nigeria's power infrastructure. The TCN data, coupled with findings from the recent Africa Trade Barometer report, shows the significant economic impact of power disruptions, with Nigeria losing an estimated $26 billion annually to power failures. Vandalism incidents occurred in key regions, including Abuja, Lagos, Kano, Enugu, Bauchi, Port Harcourt, and Benin. To address the damage, TCN has outsourced some tower repairs while also deploying its in-house engineers to manage others. The Ghanaian cedi is expected to remain under pressure this week as strong demand for foreign exchange persists, despite Ghana's notable progress with the IMF's Economic Credit Facility program. The cedi depreciated last week against major currencies, with demand from both local and offshore markets driving this trend. To mitigate the demand, the Bank of Ghana accepted all bids totaling $89.3 million in its recent 7-day foreign exchange auction. However, this effort fell short as the cedi dropped 1.06% week on week to a mid-rate of 16.55 Ghanaian cedis per US dollar and declined 0.23% and 0.28% against the pound and euro, respectively. And that's all on business news. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
Sports. CAF announces November 14th and 18th for Nigeria's Super Eagles AFCON 2025 qualifier clash against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Let's join Favor Itwa for more updates.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
And in sport, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has picked Monday, November 18th for Nigeria's final 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match against Rwanda, scheduled for the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. The match day sees a counter will draw the curtain on the race from Group D for slot at the 35th Africa Cup of Nations finals to be held in Morocco, December 2025 through to January 2026. CAF has also appointed Moroccan match officials for the game, with Samir Giezaz in the role of referee at the encounter that will commence at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. His compatriots Zakaria Brinsi, Abdesamad Abdetone, and Kech Chaf Mustafa will serve as Assistant Referee 1, Assistant Referee 2, and 4th official respectively. Prosper Arisin Ado from Ghana will be the commissioner, while Somalian Ali Muhammad Ahmed will be in the role of referee assessor. Still talking football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria on Tuesday cruised to a 4-1 victory over their Algerian counterparts in the second of the two international friendlies between both teams, with long-time absentee Folashade Ijamilusi bagging a hat-trick at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos. Former junior international Ijamilusi opened the scoring for Nigeria after 12 minutes, scoring from a corner kick, and doubled the lead 9 minutes later after latching onto a second ball following Blessing Ilivieda's effort that cannot off the crossbar. However, Wasila Alouche ghosted past the Nigerian defense at the 43rd minute to slot past Unachuku for the Algerians' only goal of the two-match tour. The Super Falcons increased the pressure on their visitors and Gift Monday netted the third with a powerful header. The second half produced only one goal, with Ijamilusi assuring her hat-trick with minutes left in the second half. The Nigerian National League, NNL, has released fixtures for the matches of the 2024-25 league season. The star match of the season, which kicks off on 30th November, will be between Abakaliki FC and Madiba FC. According to the draws held in Ikene, match day 1 of the Conference A will see Sporting Lagos be on bye, while Solution FC battles Rovers FC. First Bank of Lagos will host Osun United, with Gateway of Abeokuta meeting Godswill Akpabio FC, just as Corn Khalifa of Owerri will play host to Emalex of Owo, and Abakaliki FC meeting Madiba FC. In the Southern Conference B, Smart City will be on bye on day 1, while Eder FC will meet Abia Comet. 1472 will host Igbado FC, and Beyond FC will host Dakada. Warriors squares up with Crown FC, while Ijele hosts Inter Lagos. NNL chairman George Aluo said the draw rejig became necessary following discussion with all those involved in the league. And to wrap up sports updates, Sporting Lisbon confirmed Manchester United's interest in recruiting their Portuguese coach Ruben Amorim and their willingness to meet his €10 million release clause, the club said in a statement on Tuesday. United sacked Erik ten Hag on Monday following a disastrous start to the season, leading to speculation about his successor. The 39-year-old Amorim was immediately confirmed as a favourite, although Brentford's manager Thomas Frank and Fulham boss Marco Silva were also reported to be in the frame. Sporting, however, gave a heavy indicator that United were closing in on their number one target. Amorim refused to comment on the speculation when he was squeezed on Monday on the eve of Sporting's League Cup match against Nacional. And that wraps it up on Sports Update, and Favour Itwa.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Tonight on Entertainment News, social media influencer Martins Ose, also known as Very Dark Man, has applied to the Lagos High Court for permission to appeal a ruling that ordered him to remove defamatory content about human rights activist Femi Falana and his son, Folari Falana. The October 14th ruling by Justice Matthias Dawodu also prohibited Ose from publishing further defamatory statements, while a lawsuit filed by Falana and his son is pending. The defamatory remarks were made in a recorded conversation alleging that the duo received 10 million naira from cross-dresser Bobrisky to undermine justice. In his motion, Very Dark Man sought an extension of time to file his appeal, arguing that the court's decision was based solely on the respondent's affidavit and that his constitutional rights to appeal requires judicial permission. He contended that denying his appeal could lead to a miscarriage of justice and impact the integrity of the legal system, emphasizing that the appellate court's role is crucial in ensuring correct legal applications and maintaining judicial integrity. A new single featuring the late Liam Payne, titled Do No Wrong, is set to drop on November 1st, announced by musician Sam Pounds. In a heartfelt message, Pounds expressed his hope that the song will bring comfort and healing to listeners, as well as to Payne's family. He shared a video of the two of them in the studio, emphasizing their friendship and creative collaboration. Following Payne's tragic passing earlier this month, Pounds reflected on the joy and talent of his late friend, hoping the song serves as a positive tribute to his legacy. Payne, who gained fame as a member member of One Direction, released his debut solo album LP1 in 2019 and had teased new music for this year. His recent single Teardrops was released in March 2024 following his death, which resulted from injuries sustained in a fall at Buenos Aires hotel. The announcement of his new single has resonated deeply with fans and loved ones alike, marking a poignant moment to celebrate his musical impact. That's all on Entertainment Tonight.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's all. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Transmission Company of Nigeria has promised power restoration in northern region in 5 days. Efforts on to arrest human trafficking kingpin in Ghana, rehabilitate rescued Nigerian boys. FCCPC has warned Nigerian banks over online banking disruptions. And we also told you that all is set for Botswana presidential election as candidates round off campaigns. Now remember, they can watch News Central live anywhere you are. We're on DSTV channel 422. We're also on Star Times channel 274. We're also on Avo TV, or better yet, you can stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. That's all for tonight, and good night. I'm Judith at TV. Bye for now.